For episode 16, this is the TNA Lockdown 2014 review. TNA actually delivered a really good pay-per-view. Well, I think every Lockdown is TNA's best pay-per-view. It's always better than Bound for Glory. Um, Pay-per-view kicked off with Bad Influence and Chris Sabin versus Sonata, who is the X Division champion, Yasu, and the Great Muda. Um, the Great Muda's team wins. This more was a nostalgic moment for the Great Muda. We saw the mist. We saw everything we love about the Great Muda. A great match to open up the show. I give this match a 3 stars. We had Rockstar Spud comes out. We hear the typical Dixie things. It was kind of boring. We saw Sam Shaw versus Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson actually escaped the cage, but Earl Hebner was knocked out. So the match didn't end there. Sam Shaw would end up grabbing Christy Heavy Porter in the cage. Anderson went after him. Shaw would choke him out. Sam Shaw would escape the cage. And Sam Shaw, in his pay-per-view debut, defeats a former world champion, Mr. Anderson. That match kind of sucked though. It was really Mr. Anderson beat the hell out of him for the whole match, and then they did that whole bullshit ending. I rate the match 1.5. Then we hit to our next segment. EC3 comes out, and he talks about his wrestling career. He talks about how he injured Kurt Angle, issues an open challenge and outcomes. But boss Bobby Lashley, this was a true return moment. Nobody expected Bobby Lashley to be there. I do think this is a one-time thing, but who knows? Maybe you have Bobby Lashley return full time. It would be good. It would help TNA a lot. It wasn't really a match. Lashley hit the Dominator and then hit the Spear. Then EC3 left. Next, we have Manic versus Tiger Uno. A great X Division match, really. Tiger Uno really great in the ring. Manic, who is really good in the ring. They a really good match. They filled the void so far in the pay you had. I rate this match 3.5 stars. Tiger Uno got the win. Next, we see the match of the night to me, which was Gunner versus James Storm in a steel cage last man standing match. It was just anarchy all over the match. We saw the match end with a superplex on 2 chairs. I think they could have came with a better finish. This is why this match does not get a 5 star. The finish to me could have been a lot better, but it did pull out the match of the night. It was probably Gunner's best match he's been in. I rate this match 4.5 stars. Next, we see a TNA Knockouts title match. Madison Rain defeats Gail Kim with a top rope spear. Um, Knockouts are really good. They're really better than WWE Divas. But this match kind of disappointed. I was expecting a lot more from both of them. Madison Rain wins, but no one really cared. I mean, this was kind of the most boring match on the card, except the Sam Shaw Mr. Anderson match. But this pay-per-view was stacked, so this match gets a 2 stars. Next, we have the world title match between Samoa Joe and Magnus. Magnus retains the title. Before I get into the match, I'm going to say this match rating is 3.5. And it would have gotten to 4 stars if they didn't have a bullshit ending. The ending, if you're going to have Joe lose, have him lose clean. Have him lose like that. You know, basically, Joe has a Coquina clutch in. Someone grabbed his hand, put him on the ring. Joe comes back up. And Abyss is front of his Abyss. He hits Joe with Janice, hits the Black Hole Slam. And we found out that Abyss was working for Magnus. So, nothing really decent. So the main event though was actually it lived up to its hype. Team MVP versus Team Dixie. Entry order was Austin Aries, MVP, Robbie E, Eddie Edwards, Jesse Goddard, Stevie Richards, Bobby Roode, and Willow. Bully Ray was ref. Bobby Roode was getting ready to hit the Roode bomb. And it looked like I think it would have Davey Richards, it might have been Eddie Edwards through the table, but Bully Ray stops him, and Bully Ray hits a Uragi slam on Bobby Roode, and the MVP hits a Yakuza kick, and Team MVP has gained control of TNA. So I really was they're going to do some impact, but we'll have to wait for that. We'll see how that goes. I've really questioning where this is going to go. We saw Willow, Jeff Hardy make his return. We saw Bully Ray making his return, Bobby Lashley making his return. TNA actually looks really good tonight. I give this overall pay-per-view a rating of 3.5 stars. Not bad. It was actually better than I thought it was going to be. So let's see what goes on now for TNA. Thank you for watching.